Now that Trump has been elected for a second term, many people are asking whether it would be a good idea for them to leave the U.S. immediately before being deported. And this is because they're being told that once they're deported, they can never come back to the U.S. Well, now, certainly, there are differences of opinion on this issue. And I fully respect all viewpoints on whether it's a good idea to leave immediately. But in my opinion, I believe that once you leave the U.S., you may never be able to come back. Instead, before taking that drastic step of departing the U.S., at least consult with an attorney first, just in case there are options or hope. Now, why do I believe you should first evaluate if you have hope or options to remain in the U.S.? First of all, if you have been out of status for more than 6 months and you depart the U.S., you could be banned from returning to the U.S. for between 3 and 10 years, even if you are not deported. This is what's called the 3 or 10-year bar, which will be triggered immediately upon your departure. Even if you serve out your 10-year bar, how will you return to the U.S.? I mean, you're not going to get another visitor visa because obviously the last time you came on a visitor visa, you overstayed. If you depart the U.S. and return to the Philippines, think about it. What will you do once you're in the Philippines? Are there enough jobs there? Or are you going to have to go off to the Middle East, Europe, or some other country to find work that hopefully pays you as well as it does in the U.S.? I mean, after all, your family right now, as well as the Philippine economy, rely on you and your remittances, which will not be there if you depart immediately. Also, many of you have already lived through Trump's first term from 2016 to 2020, and you survived. Back then, you didn't jump on a flight and immediately depart back in 2016. It is also likely that Trump will first focus on deporting criminals, terrorists, and others who pose a threat to the U.S. safety and well-being of its citizens, as opposed to prioritizing people who merely overstayed. In other words, if you are not a criminal, you may not be at the top of Trump's list for removal. Even if you were deported, it's not like you could never come back. There are waivers available for people who were previously deported. For example, there's a form I-212. Also, if you are put in deportation, let's say that's the worst possible thing that could possibly happen if you stay in the U.S., the deportation process could still take several years. I mean, you are not just simply picked up at your house or your job and taken to the airport. You must go in front of a judge. And right now, the immigration courts are backlogged with millions of cases, especially all those asylum cases coming up from the southern border. So it's not like you're going to be immediately deported. There will still be several years. Also, maybe you do have a way to legalize your status in the near future. For example, you have a U.S.-born child who may soon turn 21 years of age. Or there could be defenses or relief from deportation, such as, let's say, cancellation of removal if you've been in the U.S. for at least 10 years and you have a U.S. citizen parent, child, or spouse, or immigrant parent, child, or spouse. But if you self-deport by leaving immediately, you give up all those potential avenues for legalization. I mean, you go home immediately, and next year your child turns 21, you're back home, and you're stuck there for 10 years. And finally, I think Trump truly is someone who likes to make deals. Maybe once he secures the border and gets out all the criminal element and shuts down the asylum claims, he may be willing to work with the Democrats on some form of legalization program. I think he realizes he has to focus on an overall solution to the immigration issues, which just cannot be solved only by enforcement or deportation. He has even said, and I quoted on other of my videos, that he's not against immigration as long as it's done legally. While people are certainly welcome to leave immediately if they want, I think, that there's always the possibility of hope, and that's why I just don't like to give up. At the very least, consult with an attorney who could maybe find avenues for you to legalize, or the attorney could fight for you, defend you in case you are put in deportation. But once you go, I think you're never coming back. You're going to be stuck for at least 10 years. And who knows? There could always be pagasa. And as I tell my clients, let's fight. I'll be there to protect you. I will stand beside you. I will stand in front of you. But don't give up. I'm Michael Gurfinkel, and I will continue posting videos that I hope you will find informative and keep you abreast of all of the new changes that are coming about in immigration, especially Trump and his hard line on enforcement. But through it all, I always believe there'll be pagasa. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel.